finally, I'm trying to finish this part before the next Forbidden Unlimited list pops up sometime. Probably about a week, 2 weeks from now, a week and a half. Anyway, round 32. Sorry, it's been a while since this video. I've just been really busy with the whole moving thing, and what's actually really pathetic is I can't take screen caps on my picture anymore. And because of I live right now at my parents' house, I actually, and that's why there's no elephant behind me. I actually can't send pictures from my phone. So what I had to do to get these pictures is take them with my camera phone on my camera on my iPhone, and then I couldn't even email them to myself. So I actually had to message them to Doug and then copy my own picture that I messaged. It is literally the most pathetic way of getting pictures off, or getting pictures on here. So you better appreciate my ghetto-ness. First one we have is Shockmaster versus Cyberjar. I have to say these again. Now the comparisons are starting to get really weird because, for example, I'm actually going to give this one to Shockmaster, even though Cyberjar is a more powerful card, and it can really, it can ruin you or it can ruin your opponent, and it's almost a coin flip, especially depending on how it's used. Like if your opponent, I mean, my opponent has attacked my own Cyberjar, and then I've lost because they summoned 5 monsters, and I just couldn't do anything about it, and that's if you draw that's so definitely Cyberjar is a more powerful card as a it's a 1 card investment that gives both players +5, and then it's just crazy. However, Shockmaster can be used very offensively, and there are with things like windups, sure, Shark and Magician, whatever one is limited or whatever. It makes Shockmaster really hard because that is a 3 card investment. But let's just say that Shockmaster can in game can is a tool that you can use in games, and Cyberjar is more aggression roulette. I mean, if you were trying to kill an opponent, if you were trying to kill somebody, would you rather use? I don't even. There's not even a good comparison. I was going to say a tank, or do you rather use a revolver and play Russian roulette? Of course, you'd rather use a tank. It's a stupid comparison, though. Next one is Crush Card Virus versus Dark Strike Fighter. I mean, I'm really conflicted on this because I've actually, you can, again, this is a similar argument where Crush Card Virus is a more powerful card of what it does. It can like just gut a deck of all their best monsters. However, it doesn't necessarily win the game right then and there. I mean, certainly there are times when you flip a Crush Card Virus, you have won the game. But Dark Strike Fighter, I'm just gonna talk about Dark Strike Fighter as if it's eroded in the TCG as it was in the OCG. So once during main phase 1, you can tribute. Basically, with the errata, I'm just gonna do it that way, so I don't have to think about this at all. Crush Card Virus is infinitely better. Next one, Ultimate Offering versus Mirage of Nightmare. Geez, this is also another similar instance where Ultimate Offering can win you like with gadgets or Madolche. Ultimate Offering is like your opponent might as well just scoop up the cards right then and there. However, Mirage of Nightmare really allows. I mean, think about Mirage of Nightmare and Dark Worlds or something like that. Spicy. I mean, Mirage of Nightmare was banned way before Ultimate Offering, and I think there's a reason why. Ultimate Offering needed a lot more things to really be broken, like Exceeds. That really helped Ultimate Offering. So I think as a card, Mirage of Nightmare has, you could say, worse card design or more card design, whatever that means. Disc Commander versus Last Will. Oh, that's also another hard choice. Last Will is, well, let's see. I mean, summons a monster from your deck. 1500 less attack. Well, you can't. They learned their lesson with the rescue. Well, they almost learned their lesson with Rescue Rabbit after the Rescue Cat thing. However, that card still ended up as 1. Isn't that crazy that they put all those restrictions? Like they have to be normal monsters. They have to be the same name. You can only use the effect once per turn. The monster can't be summoned from the deck, and the card still got limited. That's how good freaking Rescue Rabbit is. However, Disc Commander is better. Ooh. Next card, Fiber Jar versus Machiora. Fiber Jar is just one of the jars that, sure, it resets the game, but you don't win because you play Fiber Jar. Like it changes the game. It's one of the biggest changes you can have in a game because it's a giant reset button. But Machiora the Destructor it breaks the game mechanic, and as we saw with Exchange of the Spirit, or I don't know, you could play Gear Gaia Gear, or just so many things. The fact that things like if Machiora the Destructa was out illegal, then so many cards just couldn't be traps. Like you just couldn't have them around because that's how good it is. So I have to give it to Machiora. Next one, Spellbook of Judgment versus Monster Reborn. I'm not even going to waste time talking about this because, I mean, Spellbook of Judgment, Chaos Ember Dragon, and Painful Choice. It's really, I mean, I just said I wasn't going to waste time. While Monster Reborn is really good, I mean, Spellbook of Judgment, Painful Choice, and Chaos Emperor Dragon. I guess Monster Reborn is up there in the top 10 probably, but it is just there's just leaps and bounds above other cards. Yes, I do have an Ice Scraper, and I am scratching my head with it. Exchange of the Spirit versus Royal Oppression. Sure, Royal Oppression is super annoying, and I'm really glad it's gone because it's controlled. It's a better Vanity's Emptiness, except it really... Well, yeah, actually, it is a better Vanity's Emptiness, but Exchange of the Spirit can end games. I mean, there's... I think FTKs like that are stupid. Brionac versus Return from a Different Dimension. As we saw with the Dragon Roar format, finally, Return is banned, but Brionac is... Return's never going to come back, but I really don't think Brionac is either. Even without priority, Brionac is just... It's hard to explain why it's so good without... It's just one of those cards you just have to be there. If you think, oh, Brionac's not very good, and come back. I mean, it's... Here, Doug, make a video on why Brionac's really good. Next one is Temple of the Kings versus Rescue Cat. I chose Temple of the Kings because it breaks a game mechanic. I'm just going to keep using that until I wear out that excuse for Machiora and Temple of the Kings. Next one is Mind Master for Stratos. Sure, Stratos is abusable, especially with like a Hero Lives and Monster Reborn and the Bubble Man and the Dupe and the Whoop and the Scoop. However, Mind Master is better. I mean, it's like 4,000 life points and 3 cards in hand. You get all this. You get Landoise, Beast, and Brachyon. That's really good. Ooh. Sixth Sense versus Demok. I mean, without all these... This is sometimes a really silly argument, but Charge of the Light Brigade is only good because they're good cards that support its theme. Demok mainly draws its power when there's good spells around. That's pretty inherent. That's why Magician of Faith right now is laughable. Of course it could come back to 15 because what spells are you going to get back? Oh, you're going to get back that mind control? Ooh. I mean, sure, that'd be useful, but you have to set a monster. It wastes your normal summon. You can't really exceed with it or synchro. You just like it's Dark Magician to Chaos without Dimension Fusion and Monster Reborn and a couple other things. It's just not as powerful. So Sixth Sense by itself is just a raw card. I mean, it's either a Needlebug Nest, which is really good, or it's a freaking my nose. It's just a draw 6. Card Destruction versus Subzitoad. Subzitoad. I mean, any card that allows you to just basically pick up your Foolish Bureau's 1 for a reason. Sixth Sense is banned for a reason, and Painful Choice is forbidden for a reason. Subzitoad, when you're just allowed to throw your entire deck in the graveyard, that's really good. Imagine if we had like 7 solar recharges. Holy crap. Next one is Cold Wave versus Magical Scientist. Magical Scientist is a very niche card in terms... sure, I mean, it's 1,000 life points, you get all these fusions out, and you can, I don't know, do things with them, Exceed or whatever. But Cold Wave shuts down your opponents. I mean, when your opponent is not allowed to use spell and traps for one of their turns and one of your turns, that's just too good. Mass Driver versus Card Save Return. As a game mechanic, the only reason Mass Driver is good is because of loops, and loops can be kind of fragile sometimes. That minus a Subzitoad, Ronin Toad, and 1. But Card Safe Return, I mean, I don't know, like, you ban Subzitoad, so you can't loop your opponent so much, but just imagine something like Ronin Toad with Card Safe Return. It's like, yes, I will draw 12 cards, thank you, sir. Next is Painful Choice versus Ring of Destruction. I'm not going to waste time talking why Painful Choice is better. And the same thing for Forceful Century versus Chaos Emperor Dragon. If I have to explain to you why Cat is better than Forceful Century, well, you're not necessarily stupid. You just probably don't know what the cards do. I mean, it's pretty simple. One allows you to... One is a controlled 1-for-1 that allows you to see into the future a little bit and look at your opponent's hands. The other just literally blows up everything and kills your opponent. I mean, it's the way that Yu-Gi-Oh works is... I mean, there's a reason why like Fissure Gadgets is no longer a deck. So, anyway, thanks for watching Best Card in the Game Part 4, and I will try to get up Part 5 as soon as possible, probably tomorrow.